Hey guys, welcome back. Maverick here today with another episode of Shaman King. And yes, it was a little bit delayed again. Typically, I do want to try and push these out on Fridays, so, give the fan translators a little bit of time to translate and all that. But, you know how it is. Sometimes when you had a long day of work and on Fridays, you just want to kick back, relax, and think about nothing, right? Yeah, I don't think that's, I'm trying to get back into the groove and whatnot next month. Hopefully things will settle down a little bit more and so on and so forth, and I will try to get them out on time relatively soon, right? But anyways, putting all that aside, where are we now in the story? Well, we are now in the first round of the second phase of the tournament, I guess you could say, and of course it's Team the Ren up against some of Hao's companions slash minions, however you want to call it, and it's also the first time we actually see Chocolove in action, right? And if I recall correctly, this is also going to be the time when we see his backstory, but well, is that the case? Let's just get right into the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Mariachi. And yes, of course, we are having more cultures as well. Technically true. There's a big difference between manliness and stupidity, right? Sometimes you just have to take a deep breath, calm yourself down. Which is actually a philosophy I also abide by, and a philosophy which Yo abides by as well, right? So you rarely see him, overreact or at least overreact negatively, right? All things in moderation. Although you have to admit, those that have a more fiery, fiery, fiery emotions do make things much more interesting. Which is why typically a lot of the times, shonen characters, right? The protagonist in shonen works are a bit more, hot-headed, hot-blooded, and so on and so forth. It's rare actually to see characters more like Yo, who's really not all that keen on doing much of anything. Oh. All throughout the world there are these types of traditions, right? Not necessarily celebrating the dead, but perhaps celebrating spirits and whatnot. Like for instance, we got Halloween in the U.S. and perhaps in Europe as well. In Japan, they have something called I don't know how to translate it in English actually. Basically, a concept where all the dead rise and for a night they just march on and whatnot. Shot. Well, nobody ever said it had to be like a one-on-one or a one-on-three. But then again, this is where Chocolove shows his power. Not 98. Well, thank you for kindly explaining the backstory, gangster dude. But of course, that only works in Japanese, and considering that they're in New York here. Ho ho ho. Of course, which means he has an affinity towards the spirits. Not everybody can see. Kalabala Ningyos. Right, all those puns are in Japanese, so just of course to any normal person, he just looks like a crazy dude talking to himself. You don't quit the fuck life. Or whatnot. Actually, are they just like normal thugs or are they like mafia? I'm not quite sure. Like actual gangsters. Now it's not really the time though, dude. But Yeah, no comment here and whatnot. And that's how he got his powers. I have to say, the dude's verbal retorts are pretty good. Mhm. Nice flexibility. uh, just the absurdity of everything. See, hey, they can't stand it. One punch. So technically, he could just win over all of them. But, of course, of course, there's also the opportunity to just faint on the spot, right? Anyways, so he could, of course, just win directly, but but Chocolove made it so they didn't need to do unnecessary killing. That's got to be really if you think about it, if a normal person who can't see spirits attends this tournament, right, and sees them battle and duke it out, it would really just be them, watching a bunch of dudes making different gestures and whatnot. I kind of find that hilarious. Yeah, that wouldn't be him. Everything works out in the end, right? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alright, I will see you guys after this. Alright, so as mentioned, we look into the backstory of Chocolove in this episode, and, depending on, I guess, again, it was a little bit compressed and whatnot, but actually, to the best of my recollection, I don't think they really switched out or cut out any significant part of Chocolove's backstory there. Once again, I feel like the impact being made through the actual animation and whatnot isn't really up to what I remembered. But then again, Chocolove's backstory wasn't really all that. You know what? Actually, hold that thought. I'm sorry. Let me retract that statement. I don't particularly like Chocolove as a character. I don't really like his whole gag thing and whatnot. But you have to respect that the backstory he has is quite awesome in its own way, right? Now, initially I was thinking, okay, this is kind of like one of those cliche kind of things, and to be completely frank, I'm not really one of those, when somebody slaps you, turn the other cheek, or that kind of methodology, or that kind of philosophy, right? I'm not really too much into that kind of stuff. But, you have to give Chocolove credit, right? And the old man credit as well. Like, at the very end there, whilst the old man was killed, directly shot dead by the gangsters and whatnot, and we see Chocolove forming his oversoul and whatnot. You do kind of feel that, oh, is he going to in the end still teach them a lesson or whatnot? Teaching them a lesson doesn't necessarily mean killing them, but at least giving them a good scare or so on and so forth. But I think one thing that actually kind of surprised me at the very end there was how he actually managed to convert all his former gangster members and his former gang into basically what's being implied here is that they've turned into like upstanding individuals of the community, right? Maybe a little bit sort of like hippies and in some ways, but at the very least not really leading that gang life anymore, not really going out there killing, looting, and all that kind of stuff, right? Similar to I guess you could say Ryu and his gang. So there is a lot of sort of parallels you can make with Ryu and Chocolove, even though ultimately what they're looking for is a little bit different, right? But it's still a group of a bond of brothers, of companions and whatnot, all working together. And now that they've got this sort of the Shaman King thing, the spirit thing, they are fully supporting them as needed, right? Although again, something that I didn't quite notice while in my youth, and something that's kind of apparent to me and really hilarious to me now is this is not going to be the last time we see normal people, being involved in the tournaments and whatnot. And once again, right, normal people cannot see the spirits, right? They cannot see the oversouls. They cannot see the abilities and whatnot. Those we can only see because we are the viewers, right? And so you gotta just imagine how ridiculous the Shaman fight actually looks like, to someone who is just a normal person and they can't actually see the oversouls and whatnot. I just find it completely hilarious. Something that I didn't really quite notice back in the day, but now I guess because I have this time and this flexibility, this freedom to let my mind wander off to look at other things because I know the story already, I start noticing these little things that it's actually quite hilarious in its own way. Yeah, but anyways, putting all that aside, so the end result here is, of course, Chocolove. He did not win by himself, but at the very least, he managed to defuse the situation into one where nobody had to die, and Ren could just easily take care of Hiyode, and without really killing anyone, right? And that was what he set out to accomplish, and he accomplished that. Of course, what Ren is saying here, we've always known him to be like this cocky dude, right? But what he's saying here is actually quite true, and we can see that even on Hao's side, they are quite surprised by Ren's growth as well, right? And mind you guys, this is entirely just on him, right? He did not, get the training that of course Yo got from Anna, and that those secret arts and whatnot. This is simply just Ren arriving here and being able to see the Great Spirit, and then instantly boosting his own spirit power by like 5 times, right? Over 5 times, and that is impressive, right? So Ren, even though we like to meme on him and all that, he is actually quite impressive in his own right. All right, even Hao is somewhat impressed, I guess you could say. Actually, did we go through? Oh, okay, no, never mind. Ooh, almost at a spoiler here, but that's something that happens later on. All I can say at this point is, Hao's side, they are quite impressed with Ren and his growth, right? And I'm just gonna leave it at that. So also the power levels and whatnot. I think I mentioned this really all the way back when it was first introduced and we could see those power levels. They do play a sort of prominent role in the future, but then not necessarily so. And in order to fully get what I mean there, I don't really want to spoil anything, but those numbers are here to stay. Are they going to be ultimately mean anything in the very end? Well, it's kind of an iffy situation because, well, again, don't really want to spoil anything else at this point, but just keep an eye on the numbers and see the explosive growth of the numbers in the future. So yeah, anyways, that's it for episode 20, and again, I'll try to get these out on Fridays still, and whatnot. I don't really like to wait so many days after an episode is released to do it, so hopefully I will be able to get these out on time for next week, and for the weeks following that as well, but do keep in mind that this is a series since that is more flexible to me, right? Because, it's kind of like something I've already seen before. It's not really all that popular, to be honest, neither, in my on my channel or within the general public. So I do give it a little bit more leeway when it comes to, meeting the schedules and whatnot. But still, I will try my best to adhere to one. So, that's it for now. Thank you guys. I'll see you guys next time.